Your Excellencies, Honorable Ministers, distinguished guests, what has to be said of accelerating Sri Lanka's digital innovation and the Industry 4 Digital exhibition that we are planning to hold has already been said. In fact, I have very little to add, and that I had mentioned in the morning, that the IMF reforms give us a growth potential. We should grasp that opportunity, and therefore we should now plan for an economy that fits the mid-century. A highly competitive social market economy. Highly competitive means not becoming competitive in every sector. We cannot. But there are areas that we can be competitive. For instance, as a regional logistics center, in certain types of agriculture. So those are the areas that we have to identify. Secondly, that highly competitive economy should also be a green economy, because there is huge potential for Sri Lanka to exploit the green economy. Thirdly, the highly competitive economy must be a green economy and a digital economy. So this is where the paths fit in. It's not only a digital economy, it must be a green economy. You tie the two together, combine the two, and then it must be a highly competitive economy. So these are details which the market will have to work out as we develop further. As far as the digital economy is concerned, we have now to develop our digital policy, which we haven't done so. So there are many ideas here, many proposals, and we have to do this together with the industry. Government spending cannot drive the digital economy. The digital economy has to be driven by the private sector. What we can do is to promote. We should not stand in the way. That's going to be our policies. Our digital policy, and within it an AI-oriented policy also of implementation. To do this, firstly, we have to build up the manpower. Now that manpower again, while the government will increase its spending in this sector, again this is what the private sector has to do. Because and we will ensure that funding is made available to all those who take on this course, who follow these courses. The IT, if you look at the whole digital industry, you see the two leading giants, US and China. In USA, it was driven by the market. Anywhere else. In China also is driven by the market. All of China's development came through the market. So we should not think of digital policy as being centered around the government. But there is certainly a duty of the government to accelerate the digitalization by digitalizing the government sector. What we plan to do in this government is to appoint a cabinet committee of ministers to ensure that the government sector digitalization is done fast and done quickly. That will help you to bring the digital policy forward and to accelerate it. We cannot wait too long. We should also coordinate and work together with our neighboring countries. I am looking forward to the economic and technological cooperation partnership with India, which will enable us to work together with India and specifically South India, which has grown by leaps and bounds. So this is the area that concerns the Sri Lankan policy. Then the infrastructure. The infrastructure required will have to be provided by the private sector. Government is not in a position to do so. We will promote will certainly promote the provision of infrastructure by the private sector. This is one of the reasons that has led the government to privatize Sri Lanka telecoms. We just haven't the money to put into it. We need foreign investment and let it come through SLT and the other institutions that are involved. In this way, we are laying the groundwork for the government policy on digitalization. It is necessary. It will be one of the key sectors of the new economy. It's for you all to tell us what has to be done. It's for you all to work with the government or for the government to work with you all. So at some point, the formulation of policy will depend on the decisions of this sector, the IT sector. Because all new technologies will be tried out in Sri Lanka. We want to build a new economy that is based on Industry 4 technology. Looking at agriculture, looking at fisheries, manufacturing services, it's a totally different world from what we know now that you see in 20 years' time. And the growth will come into South Asia as India develops. So therefore, I won't take any more of your time. I've told you what we are planning to do, and we'll have this cabinet committee, and we should also focus on areas that are easy for us to develop. One such area is artificial intelligence. What is artificial intelligence? How does it correlate to the mind? Now, this is a topic that most of us here are familiar with. Being Buddhist, we know, as the Dhammapada says, mind determines everything. So what is the correlation between the mind and artificial intelligence? I think that's one area for us to work on. Now, second area I would say is research. The research is lacking in Sri Lanka. There isn't sufficient research being done. I don't intend in any way to start new research institutions. What we want are the universities and the private sector to link up. We will certainly help the universities with the infrastructure that is needed. But it's you in the private sector who has to drive it. It's you who have to invest the money, lose some of it, and gain the rest of it. Because this will ensure that it's a private sector driven industry. What we have are the universities. If there are other institutions that can help you, certainly we get them all combined. And to plan out this policy, we will, the state minister will speak to you all and then report back to the cabinet committee. To start it off this year, I am setting aside 100 million rupees. I think that should do for this year. Next year, we want the research. I want to do the research with the main focus on AI. And for that, next year, I'll set aside 1 billion rupees. Depending on how you perform, then we can decide what we give for 2025. This government, of which the many members are here, which I head, with the Prime Minister and the Minister, this government as a whole is determined to modernize the country and to digitalize the country. And you can rest assured that we will do everything to ensure Sri Lanka comes out as one of the leading nations in the region as far as digitalization is concerned. Thank you.
His Excellency the President will be launching the website of DigiCon Sri Lanka 2030 with a click of a button. Have a look at the screen, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, we have the access. Put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen. DigiCon Sri Lanka. So now anyone anywhere in the world gets the opportunity of exploring what's in store at DigiCon. We request Your Excellency to remain on stage, as in a moment we'll be moving on to another very important item in the agenda. But before that, have a look at the screen. The DigiCon Sri Lanka 2030 website has been officially launched. As His Excellency remains on stage, we're going to tell you what's in store in the next couple of moments. And what's in store, ladies and gentlemen, is in fact ICT associations extending their support to His Excellency. And they will be presenting their pledge of support to the President. But before that, let's put our hands together one more time for DigiCon Sri Lanka 2030 website, which has been launched. And now we're going to invite representations from the ICT associations in a moment. So this is the moment where we're going to witness FITIS officially pledging their support to His Excellency the President. Let's put our hands together, ladies and gentlemen, for FITIS. And we request you to kindly remain on stage, and as we move to the next association, which is the Institute of the IESL, Institute of... So this is the moment for IESL. Once again, let's put our hands together for IESL. And the NITC conference is there. Great event. Let's put our hands together for the Computer Society of Sri Lanka. Could you please put your hands together for the Computer Society of Sri Lanka and ICTA? Could you please put your hands together for BCS? DigiCon Sri Lanka 2023 to 30. So we have 6 associations pledging their support, all represented on stage, and now we're going to quickly take a nice group photo. So gentlemen on stage, great ICT associations in Sri Lanka pledging their support to the President and also for DigiCon Sri Lanka 2030.